Hello everybody, this is Andy, and welcome to episode 25 of Omnifactory. And we've got a lot of good stuff to do today, and we're going to make a lot of progression towards the moat of Omnium. I didn't really do much in between episodes except for set up this little area right here, which is going to be used to make our solidified everything. And we're going to need to do a lot of nuclear craft, or well, at least like the bare minimum of nuclear craft, which will be like, I think, a lot to get some of these stuffs. In fact, I am cooking up a little bit of LEN fuel right now because this stuff turns into americium, which I can use the americium. Well, one, I think we need americium in here. Yeah, we do need americium. I can use the americium to get like curium and other things like that. However, I'm going to let this finish up and we can shove some more fuel in there later. I've just been doing this all by hand because I don't think you need so much that it's unreasonable to do it by hand, and I'm too lazy to run a line to this thing and set up automation. So, yeah. However, first things first, let's get a Fusion Computer Mark III ordered up. It should be good. I feel like every time I press this button, there's a new issue that crops up. And this time the issue is americium plates. Didn't I make a bunch of those? Hold on, do I have americium? No. Okay, I've never done americium yet. Let's go ahead and fluid extract some of this stuff. It's a little bit slower than some of the other fluid extractors, but he does his job well. And he's giving us the americium that we need. I decided to go for the 242 isotope because it's used in smaller proportions than the 243. So, yeah, we're going to start making this LEA, wait, is it LEA 242? Yeah, the LEA 242, because this stuff will give us a bunch of curium, which is also an isotope that we need. Or I guess it's not quite an isotope, it's more like a material, but, oh, wait, no, that's what I wanted. That's okay. And wait, did that give me exactly a stack? Wait, I guess that makes sense. It turns into 144, turns back into plates. Now we should be able to order our Fusion Computer Mark III. And, oh, nothing went wrong this time. Okay, let's go. I did want to check on some other stuff. Nether quartz we're good on. Redstone, oh, we're very good on. Diamonds, good. Any ingot issues? We appear to be fine. I like to check on all that stuff from time to time because we do tend to have issues where things aren't being produced fast enough, and then things go bad in the entire base. One funny thing that I did want to show you guys was the Tier 3 circuits. I have 4,500 of them. Let's go see why. Oh, this way. And I have my circuit chest right here, I think. Yep. And we have a couple of them. Originally, I had this set to level emit at 200. However, I forgot to turn redstone mode on this. It was just active always, so it filled up the entire chest. Not actually like very expensive because these things are pretty darn cheap. I mean, even with the slightly more expensive recipe, pretty darn cheap. But I thought it was a little funny. So right now, while we're processing some other stuff, let's go ahead and set up some of the easier solidified parts right here. They can't be turned back into themselves, so we need to make sure we don't make too many. And for some of the more rare stuff, I'm going to make the exact amount that we need. We need exactly 504 motes of Omnium to create the creative tank. It's used to make these... It's used in the implosion compressor to make these nuggets, and these nuggets are used to make ingots, and the ingots are used in crafting, and then the blocks are also used in a couple of crafts, like this Neutronium solar panel. So this right here is going to take 18 ingots per, which is 81 times 2, so 162 nuggets per, and that means that we have to do this craft twice because you need 2 of them for the this guy, and that means right here we already need 324 motes of Omnium. Good thing this is the biggest Omnium sink for the entire pack. I mean, probably not for the entire pack. Oh, actually, it's a little bit higher than that because these guys need ingots. But it's a big Omnium sink, especially for the tier that we're at right now, because eventually, once we have the fluid solidifier and the creative tank, we can just make Omnium forever. Okay, let me set up the easy ones, and I'll be right back. This thing is slowly, but very surely, making its fusion reactor computer. We have a lot of stuff that's going to take a very long time. These wetware assemblies have to go in one by one, and we need 36 more of them, and I've already made like 20. So, oh, we also need 24 more of these wetware supercomputers. Those are a little expensive, and we need another ZPM field generator. This thing might take another 20 or 30 minutes. However, I believe At this moment, we have now gotten all of the low-hanging fruit for the stabilized ball things that we need. Everything else that we're going to get is either available through nuclear craft, or specifically the stabilized Einsteinium is going to be gotten through the tier 6 microminers. I'll just send a couple of these guys off once we get the plutonium that we need, and we'll be happy. In fact, we'll be very happy because it's made from berkelium and californium in a fusion reactor, and I don't really want to do that because it's also very slow. By my count, we need 8 fusion or fluid extractors, and those are just going to go up here. We'll supply them with the items that they need to extract, and then send those extracted fluids down into the last few fluid solidifiers down here. I think there is, so what? We have 8 left and 8 more things to solidify. This is perfect. The first ball we need is thorium, and that should be getting fluid extracted nice and good. The next one we need is uranium, and I'm going to use uranium-238 because we have a ton of it. Also, it's fairly slow. Interesting. The next fuel is a Neptunium isotope, which is going to be used in the tiny little pile thing because I'm a little too lazy to set up like an auto crafting system for it, so it's just going to get shoved in like that. And don't worry, we don't have that much of this stuff. I am currently creating a ton more using TBU fuel. I just ordered 500 TBU fuel and shoved it in our thing. So I've just run into a very interesting issue with these assembly lines. I'm running them at UV right now, which is apparently a little bit slow for how fast my conduits can pull out. So I've pulled out all of the extract speed upgrades that were once in the extracting conduit right here, because what was happening was it was putting the entire recipe into the input slots very, very quickly, and then it wouldn't be able to finish the next one before it shoved an entire recipe and another half one into the input slots. So that's a little bit of an issue. However, now we should be fixed. Our assembly machines are going to run a little bit slower, which is completely okay. They're already the slowest machine in the base. A little bit slower can't really hurt. However, I think that should solve any problems we have with them, and I'm crafting up these tier 9s on my own. Why are they not getting shoved into the system, actually? I've seen you run. Oh, you must be making the tier 8s right now. So, yeah, I'll request the fusion computer again in a minute, but for now, this guy's doing his best. Oh, and there was also the issue that for some reason I moved my tier 9 circuits over to this assembler, which didn't have water in it. Remember, the most important material. This one had water in it. This one did not. Our next material to solidify is plutonium, and just like that, it should be going. And I'm using this 242 stuff because we get it in the highest quantities in multiple different fuels, so we should be good to go. The next one is americium, which is now being extracted. Very nice. The next one to melt is curium-245, and off to the races. The reason I'm specifically melting 245 is because it's essentially useless in any other manner, and we get a bunch of it from centrifuging this. We get 8 per one of these, and we're going to centrifuge a lot of these to get the americium and curium that we need. And with me right now, I have the final 2 fluids that we're going to need, californium and berkelium. These 2, I'm using the this one specific version because it's a lot easier to come by than the other one, so we're going to use those 2. Now, let's go upstairs to outside, and I did set up this little interface that's going to supply all these fuels for us. And this is risky. I hope this doesn't do me really bad, but we're going to set a crafting card here and watch it destroy all of our jobs. Or maybe not. Oh, it appears to be crafting. Why am I not? Oh, now I'm seeing them. Okay, it's eating all my CPUs up. However, all of these fuels are safe to be used in our reactor, so I'm just going to process approximately 1 million of each of them, and we should be good to go. I think I might process TBU for a little while. This is the most abundant one, but I have processed a ton of TBU already. Let's take a look at the products of TBU, depleted TBU. A bunch of Neutronium and a bunch of uranium. Let's check on our uranium. We have a fair bit, though I could go for some more, and Neptunium, we have a fair bit, but I could go for some more. So let me process TBU for a little while, and then I will pull it out of here, and we'll begin processing all of these other fuels. The reason I am semi-automating this, or like lazy automating it, I guess you'd say, using applied energistics, is because I think this is going to take a little bit more time than it would ever be like reasonable to do by hand. And since all of our fuels are safe, it's safe to do it this way. Our reactor is not going to melt down, and we should essentially have no problems. I could build a better reactor that'll handle these fuels better, or I could start using high enriched variants of these fuels, but I think we're going to get all this stuff done well before we have all the components that we need to get into actually like making a ton of Omnium. And since we're kind of waiting for things to process, let's go ahead and order our first stack of Einsteinium. Everything should be good here. The tier 6 microminers are actually fairly cheap and don't require, I don't think, any other microminers to be sent out for them. No. So let's do this. Every once in a while, I'll send this out, so we will get the Einsteinium we need. We need 504, remember. This stuff isn't used in much, or we need slightly more than 504, but this stuff isn't really used in much else except for like these reactor cores, which are used in like 2 places, 3 places. There are, however, going to be a couple of these stabilized balls that we're going to need a lot more of than 504 or whatever it is. We are going to need more of curium, plutonium, neptunium, and americium. These 4 are used to make sonarium and enrich sonarium, which are important to the solar panels. As you see, they're a part of advanced solar materials. They're used in pretty much every recipe in the solar panels, and we're going to need the Wyvern, Draconic, and Chaotic solar panels to make the Neutronium solar panel. So, while we're processing a lot of our fuel right now, let's go ahead and focus on solar panel progression. Let's go all the way down the tier. Neutronium, Chaotic. Chaotic is made from Draconium, or Draconic. Draconic is made from Wyvern. Wyvern is made from tier 8. Tier 8s are made from tier 7s, tier 7s are 6s, and you get the gist. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I think I already have a recipe in for up to 3 or something like that, because these are used in, the helium rovers, but after that, we just have to start going, and it looks like this is pretty easy still. This is where it gets hard. We need the sonarium. In all the time that I've spent doing those last few things, we now have the Fusion Reactor Computer Mark III, and that's not a quest because we don't have everything we need to make the Fusion Reactor Mark III yet, actually. That requires 108 of these Fusion machine casings Mark II, which requires a bunch of americium plates, which now we can make since we have a ton of americium right here. So I'm just gonna yoink that and put my americium back to work, and we can go up to our, nope, not that, the central. Where's central? There's central, and we can plate the stuff in the fluid solidifier. With a bunch of those plates made, I should now be able to order the 108 that I need right here. It's gonna eat through our aluminum once again. I wonder how that's doing actually. 1200, that's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but yeah, we used to have 2000. So now, we're doing not so great. However, look at this. This is actually really pretty. I find this beautiful. I'm using the 4x drawers because they store exactly 512 items in them, which is, for a lot of these, the maximum that I'm going to need. And for the ones that I need more of, it'll just, create more as I need more. Okay, so now we have all of the fusion machine casings, and I also have gotten all these fluid solidifiers working. I don't think we're going to need quite as much of some of the fluids as I thought, because some of them give multiples. Like, this mercury only gives 1, but the, say, curium gives 4 per, so we're already backing up pretty well on something like curium. We almost have our first 512, which is, not enough, but it's decent, and we're going to produce a lot more. But I have the fusion casings now, so we can pivot slightly from that and set up our Mark III fusion reactor. I'm not going to set up a 3rd reactor right now. I might set up another one for power eventually. Actually, that's not even going to be necessary. We're just going to have a creative tank of oxygen plasma creating us infinite energy, or like Neutronium solar panels or something. However, let's go ahead and upgrade this guy. I'm starting to think that maybe I should have saved on coils, or saved on these casings, and tore this thing down before I made the new casings. But, it's too late now. And here is the completed Fusion Reactor Mark III, and I went ahead and hooked up the americium into it because we're now creating a decent excess. I can't fly over that, hold on. It's over here-ish? Yeah, we have 40 buckets excess plus 8 stored in there and 8 stored in the fluid interface. Yeah, so we might have enough to get at least like a stack of Neutronium or something like that. However, Neutronium also requires this Nequadria stuff. As you can see, in a fusion reactor with Americium, it becomes Neutronium at an 8-to-1 ratio, which is why I'm saying, you know, oh, maybe 40 buckets will turn into a stack of Neutronium. It's a little expensive, and this stuff comes from Nequadria dust, which you can't get through any other way except for doing this. Nequada alloy, very cheap. We have a ton of Nequada alloy. This stuff we can all craft. Do I have a backlog of curium? I might. Where am I creating curium? Probably over here, right? Nope, you're Americium. You are curium, aren't you? Yep, we don't have a backlog of curium yet. However, how are we doing down here, wherever my curium is? Not doing great. Not doing great on curium. However, my fission reactor, whatever, the thing from Nuclearcraft up there, is working right now to create us a ton of curium and Americium. The way I see it, we have essentially 2 big, like, fluid crafting type of process things left to do. The Nequadria dust, which is made with all this stuff like I just showed you, and the quantum fluxed Internium heavy plating. This is stuff we all have except for the krypton, and we need to solve this problem too, because you only get 1 bucket of krypton per 53 buckets of noble gases, and you get 1 bucket of noble gas per 53 buckets of liquid air. This is such a big problem that over here, even though we've been running that cryogenic, whatever, air distillery thing for essentially like 10 days now, I have 308 buckets of xenon and I believe a similar amount of krypton. Yeah. So essentially that means we've already used all of our entire backlog that's been being produced for many, many days now. So I'm going to have to upgrade that. And the way that I'm going to do that right now, I think, is to upgrade our liquid air production. Because I think we might be a little bit slow on producing the liquid air right here. If you see, this thing runs, I think, faster than it fills up. Yeah. And here is the upgrade to the vacuum freezer. I have an atmosphere collector. This thing runs at LUV, I think, right? Yeah, LUV, and I'm running the this guy at LUV as well, which means it's kind of dumb fast, and it should fill this stuff up faster than we can do the process. How long does the process take? That's kind of what I want to see. Okay, it's fairly quickly. I want to make sure we're not wasting any time here. It finishes, and it's still not quite done. That means our fluid transfer isn't fast enough, actually. All we should have to do to remedy that is to add a second fluid extractor. Now, the question is, what are we extracting on? Looks like just green, so we don't have to worry about anything, and it should move fluid much faster. Oh my god. That thing... Okay, so this thing should be up full time now. So we should, within the next day or so, be able to fill up the solidified things, and then we should be able to use some of the krypton and xenon that we have to, do other processes. And also, in the meantime, while I've been letting things run, I have been looking for something called blue topaz ore. The reason we need this is for the solar panels. I've also put in all the recipes for up to tier 8 solar panels, because after tier 8 you start going to Wyvern, Draconic, Chaotic, Neutronium, all that kind of cool stuff. But this one requires blue topaz, which is something that we simply don't have. I couldn't find it cheating an ore in and using the scanner to find it. I couldn't find it going through caves for half an hour. I simply couldn't find blue topaz or normal topaz, because you can technically get the dust from ore washing normal topaz or crushed topaz or whatever, but I just it doesn't seem to exist. So what I'm gonna do with you here, so you know that I'm not cheating or anything, we're gonna throw away some money. And the reason we're gonna do this is so we don't blow our brains out. Oh, I only need 4. Is it that? How do I get an Omni dollar? Hello. There it is. I'm gonna get 2 Omni dollars, and we're gonna throw these into the trash right here, and we're gonna give ourselves, let's say, 2 stacks of this stuff, because I feel like if it was spawned, it would... Can you give me... Yeah, thank you. I feel like if it was just spawning in the world, it'd actually be pretty easy to find and pretty cheap. So we definitely overpaid for this stuff, but I don't want to go insane. And I completely understand and apologize if you guys don't like me cheating something in. However, I am here to have fun and not adhere to every quirk and oddity of the game and its mechanics. I just want to have a good time, and I don't want to grind unnecessarily, especially if something is broken, and it seems like this thing might be broken. So, if I'm proven wrong in 2 months when this video gets uploaded, because that's how backlogged I am on videos, I'm sorry. However, since we now have the ability to order these tier 8 solar panels, why don't we order 4 of them, and then turn them into a Wyvern solar panel, so we can generate a bunch of energy with it. Okay, so I should be pretty reasonably be able to order 4 of these, I think. And it has to do a little bit of crafting, but it should be good to go. And here we go. This will be our first 2 Wyvern solar panels. And just like that, we now have them in the system. Okay, and the second one should be coming along shortly, I believe. Let's check the crafting log. It says scheduled. Interesting. Oh, wait, I took out the recipe because there was a conflict. Now we're good, though. And it goes. Yay! I assumed it was finally time to start crafting up the Nequadria dust that we need to get Neutronium. However, I've decided I'm going to be lazy about this one because we really don't need that much. I'm going to supply the Enderium by hand because we're running low on Enderium. If you check here, I can maybe put another stack in there because I'm not going to do any crafting with Enderium for the moment. So we should have just over 40 buckets. That's going to last us a while. That's 90 pieces of Nequadria, which is at least a little bit of Neutronium. However, I'll throw in maybe 8-10 stacks tomorrow morning. I've also supplied it 55 buckets of curium just through this fluid extractor right here in an interface that once had a curium being supplied. Now it does not, because I think 55 buckets of curium will actually be enough for all of the Nequadria that we need. So the last step is to throw this thing in here, which is already in there, go into here, say, hey, I want to be lazy and lag the heck out of my ME system. And I give myself a crafting card and say, go. And it should not, that's not how it works. It should go in a second. And it has been a little more than a second. Turns out this is an Advanced Mixer 5. I made the right mixer to make the Nequadria. I just was supplying it with IV power, so it wasn't finishing its job. I thought I wasn't making enough power and I was really scared. However, if we check our conduit probe, we can see that we're only using around 950,000 RF per tick, which is a lot, but we're producing 2.6-ish million. However, we have our first Nequadria here. I just need to set it to be allowed to export directly back into the interface, just like that. And what I'm gonna do, I think, over here is crafting card it directly into a chest. So give me that little bit of Nequadria, please. Thank you. And it's going to just make it. What we should see is that it should be automatically requesting Nequadria. So every time it finishes a craft, it exports into here. However, since the system can't see it, it doesn't know that it finished the craft, so it's just going to keep making it over and over and over. You'll see it's now in the mixer once again. I'm going the wrong way. This way. Can't really fly. And it's making one. It takes 20 seconds, I think, at LUV, which is what we're running it at. However, slow is fine because it's going to be faster than the nuclear or the fission reactor. And it should make it and export it into the thing and automatically request another one, right? Yep, there we go. And right here we have the slightly convoluted system that I'm using to turn the Nequadria into the Nequadria fluid. It's exporting into the chest into here. This furnace has to be exported into from the top, and it has to be pulled out from the bottom. For some reason I decided to use this, and I'm not going back on my ways now. I have a little chest in here with a ton of coal. I'm just automating things in the stupidest ways because we're almost at the creative tank, and then I can tear all of this down. So let's go ahead and pipette this little bit out and shove it into this fluid interface, which is going to export our Nequadria into this. So now if I just go ahead and shove the pipette in there, it should actually begin working on its first little bit of Neutronium. And it looks like this thing is only using like 100,000 EU per tick. That's like basically nothing. And we already have 2 millibuckets, 4 millibuckets. Since we're not lagging right now, we're at 9.709 milliseconds per tick, which means we're running at 20 ticks per second pretty comfortably, and it takes 5 seconds to make 1 millibucket of Neutronium. To get the 158 total Neutronium ingots that I've calculated that we need, it is going to take 31.6 hours. That's like almost a day and a half. That's a couple minutes. And also, if you're curious, it takes 12 minutes to make a single ingot of Neutronium. So essentially, I have to let this sit for approximately forever. Since we have time to kill, I went ahead and set up one of these invisible coil blast furnaces again, because they're just so fast. Funny joke, yeah, ha ha ha. I'm waiting for the Naquata coils so we can make... Oopsies, I didn't mean to do that. So we can make more Enderium, because my Enderium production is definitely not going to keep up. So we're going to double it. In the meantime, let's go ahead and set up better tier this injectors. Is that what they're called? Yep, the fusion crafting injectors. I got a bunch of these draconic ones, so seriously, dude? So we can make the draconic tier solar panels, because I can make these now. And let's go ahead and order the draconic solar panels right now, because we might as well. Come on, okay, 57,000 bytes. Okay, it does say that we have the solar panels though, right? Yep, available. And go ahead and start. The reason I want to do this now is just so we don't have to do all this crafting later. Crafting up to the chaotic solar panel will be a little bit expensive if I have to do it all in the same time that I request the Neutronium solar panel. So we're going to do a little bit of this early crafting now. In a similar vein, I've actually been ordering chaos shards every time I have enough diamonds to do so. So 50,000 diamonds, I can order 2 more chaos shard things, or chaos shard missions. Currently I have 20, and we need, I believe, I did calculation, hold on one second. We need 92 to get the creative tank. So I wonder if I can order one right now. I think our computer that actually can handle this is a little bit busy. So yeah, and it said we're missing something. Ooh. Okay, yes, we definitely need to up Enderium production. However, is our thing done yet? Oh, it appears our coils are done. So if I just replace the invisible coils with these coils, we should be ready to go and start. Yep, and this thing is going to make Enderium for forever, because I want it to make Enderium for forever, because I never want to stop making Enderium. And here it goes. This is the draconic solar panel. I keep trying to say chaotic. Chaotic is later. But look at that thing go. I wonder if we're sucking a ton of energy from our conduit net. Let's go ahead and watch it finish. Ooh, yay, draconic solar panels. And it looks like 1,500 or 1.5 million. Not bad, not bad. However, let's go ahead and grab these draconic solar panels. I wonder if they're a quest. However, I think that's all the time I have for this video. We now have over an ingot of Neutronium, and it's looking pretty. This thing is gonna take forever, but it's not gonna take like forever. It's just gonna take forever. Yeah, that's all the time I have for today. Tomorrow, we will attempt to send off our first tier 9 microminer to supplement our Neutronium production. It doesn't look like this recipe is going to be all that bad, except for the quantum flux Eternium heavy plating. I had trouble with this name at the beginning of the episode too, didn't I? Yeah, this thing can get sent off with 1 stellar creation data, which is just made like that, and a little bit of neutron reflectors, and a lot of stuff to get a whole stack of Neutronium nuggets, and then we can send this thing off to get universe creation data and send it off with our tier 10. However, we might be getting a little ahead of ourselves, so let's end it there. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, leave a like or something. Might as well. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.